Hello, everybody, and welcome tonight here to South Boston Speedway for the final race of the season here for these modifieds here in the Thunderstruck Super Series. Welcome to the Thunderstruck Championship 125. My name is Zach Wetstein. I'm here tonight with William Paisley. How you doing tonight, William?
I'm doing pretty good tonight, Zach. We're here at South Boston Speedway. Pretty much, I believe it's one of the smallest tracks in iRacing. It is an absolute bull ring of a track, and looking forward to a really good race tonight.
Yeah, you got the track length there on track, or there on screen, on your screen there. Very short track, like you mentioned. 74 degrees is going to be the track temperature here tonight. You see it's nighttime, so not going to have to worry about the sun at all. Much like most of the races this season, we're going to have another 125 lap race for you guys to end out the season. And well, I guess the main name we have to talk about is Ryan Bean. He has this thing locked up.
Yeah, he does. He has this thing finally locked up and sealed up. Ryan is officially the champion. I believe he has been for a week or two now, actually. But I think that ends up taking a little bit of pressure off of him, so he can just sort of kind of go for even more aggressive moves if he wanted to. Just not having to worry about points anymore. You can just go out there and enjoy the race and have fun. That's one of the greatest feelings that you can have.
Yeah, he currently has a 141 point lead over Josh Oswald. And well, next season for the modified series, I think it'll be a little bit more tight with the points, just because this season they've had bonus points for qualifying, I think, first through 15th. And, if you qualify poorly compared to the other person, well, that can really set you apart. So I think they're going to have that a little bit more even next season. But we're not going to think about that right now. We got another race left here for Season 1 of the modified series here in the Thunderstruck Super Series, and I'm looking forward to it. We are gridding up for the B main. We have 5 drivers, so they're all going to be safe. They're all going to make the main event. It's all about getting that experience for the main event here tonight. Here is your lineup. Michael DeLong qualifies in the first position here for this B main. Keith Lichtenwaller second. Rusty Modesty third. Elliot Longenecker fourth, and Aaron Ward is going to round out the field for the B main. I mean, if you've been following along, you know how it works. These 5 drivers are going to be the last 5 in the running order for the main feature. We'll have 20 cars. So, like I said, this one's really just going to be all about testing the waters, seeing how the track is around traffic. Not too much, obviously, with 5 cars. We'll see how many of them actually grid up. We only have 2 right now.
Yeah, and I think if we end up having just 2 cars in, the way that you can treat this if you're both Michael DeLong and Keith Lichtenwallner is you kind of just use it as a bit of a practice session, right? You can use it as a bit of a time to try some new things out that maybe you didn't try in regular practice, or maybe didn't quite get quite right in the qualifying. And you can just really use it to try to find some little bits of speed, right? Because you're not going to be losing too many positions if, say, you send it too deep in and end up wrecking yourself in this, because your position's already secured. And the worst that you're going to get when there's only 2 cars gridded up is, well, 16th. So it's not a big deal if you end up wrecking during this. So I think what they should be doing during this is just trying new things, see what they can maybe get out of their car, or maybe even find some of the things that they may need out of their car, such as whether or not it's just too tight, or it just has no bite out of the corner. Sometimes finding these things out and maybe figuring out what you can do for an adjustment for that can really make the difference in the main event.
Yeah, the worst you can be if you finish in that second position is 17th. So, yeah, you're right. Not much to worry about in this one, except learning how your car can handle. So, whether you're running the car hard or just easy. So, hey, we got a couple cars on track for 20 laps. It's a short track, so those laps will go by pretty quickly.
They will. This track is really tiny. It's not the fastest lap time that we have, I believe, on the circuit, but it is definitely the tightest corners, at least in my opinion.
And these guys are getting set to test the waters, as we said. See how their cars are going to handle in a racing situation, although there's only one other car on track. Michael DeLong and Keith Lichtenwater are off. The green flag is out. And, hey, a little bit of side-by-side racing going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's not going to last very long with how small these corners are. You're not going to really be able to carry as much speed around the top. The fast line around this track is definitely the bottom, which is a bit of the reason as to why this track is so much of a bull ring. You just really need to be able to get down there and get below somebody if you're going to ever try to make the move.
And you got to think as if you're one of the drivers who made it in qualifying in the top 15. You got to think they're watching this. You know, it's amusing to only watch 2 cars out there, but they can maybe, you know, we talk about how these drivers, they can, you know, drive it deep into the turn and see how their car handles. Well, they can, maybe the drivers who already qualified in the top 15 can watch this and see how these guys' cars handle when they dive deep into the turn, just to see what might stick. So it's not only a learning lesson for the drivers on track, but also the drivers off, as Keith Lichtenwater takes that spot away from Michael DeLong.
Yeah, and to hit on a point that you just made, you can always learn a little bit from, even if you are faster than the people that are that are, say, racing right now. You can always learn a little bit from what they're doing, right? You should always be analyzing kind of what they're doing and see if there's maybe something that you can learn from it, right? Because everybody has something that they're doing right in there. So you just try to figure out, see if there's anything that maybe you can pull from it, and maybe even find a little bit of speed yourself, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we always talk about it. And obviously with only 2 cars on track, it's not as much as when you have 6 or 7 on track with you. But even with just 2 cars, these 2 are going to have more race experience technically than all these other drivers, so they can try to use that to their advantage. Like I said, even though it's just 2 cars, as Michael DeLong looks like he pulls into pit road, so it might be just Keith Lichtenwater on the track.
That's
He said, well, the worst I can finish is second.
Yeah. And like I said, it's always an option that you can have, right? You can try something a little bit different and see if it sticks. And I guess for him it didn't this time, but that's kind of what the session can be used for. So in the end, not that big of a deal that it happened.
Keith Lichtenwater in a Philip Manzo type situation now from earlier in the season.
Yeah, he's just so fast we can't see the other cars on track. There's actually all 5 on track currently. He's just so fast. Nobody else in sight.
Yeah, I think everybody spectating this is now thinking to themselves, well, these next 7 laps can go by a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Definitely, and it gives them a little bit of time out there to just kind of see what works, though, right? Like, completely unimpeded now, so you can just send it into the corner, see what happens.
Yeah, this track, I mean, we talked about it in the first race of the season, really, about how tough this was going to be for a championship race. And while Ryan Bean may not have any company for the lead in the points, we still have some points battles going on for second, third, fourth right now. You have Josh Oswald in second, Garrett Kinder in third, Casey Kuntz in fourth. All those drivers are trying to maintain their spot, if not gain. Obviously, Josh can't, but they're trying to at least gain if they can on the points, on the driver ahead of them in points. So it's not all, going to waste this race. There's still points battles going on. It's not for the championship, obviously, but it's just as much of a battle for them, even though it's for second, third, or fourth, than it is for if it was for the lead, so in points. So you're still going to see guys you're going to see everybody in the field, even Ryan Bean himself, be as competitive as he can be, just because that's what you're always going to do as a racer. It doesn't matter what the situation is, even if it's a fun run race, you want to win every race you can. So we're going to see still all these drivers tonight be competitive.
Oh, absolutely. And when you think about it, it can actually end up being a bit of a momentum bit for you, right? Because while you may not have had the best season this year, ending the season well can mean so much, just in terms of your overall morale and everything like that, and just how you're feeling going into the next season. So none of these guys should be taking this race super lightly, because momentum can be everything, and it very well could end up being as we see Keith stop right before the line. But momentum can be just about everything in racing. So you always want to finish the season well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I talked about second and third place in points. Currently, Josh Oswald is 21 points up on Garrett Kinder, so it looks like he's going to be able to lock up that second spot. And Garrett Kinder himself is 21 points ahead of Casey Kuntz. So guys matching each other there for points leads over the next driver. And Casey himself has a 27-point lead over Michael Swink, who's in fifth in points. So really your top five might just stay your top five, and really Kevin Dowd in sixth as well. The closest battle on track for points, which I don't know if both of them are in the session, but right now in points, David Hall in seventh and Harold Rothery in eighth have a 2-point difference between those two. So that's really the closest battle for points, and that's all the way down in seventh and eighth, but still top 10 in points.
Does look like both Harold Rothery and David Hall. It does look like they're both in the race, so there will be a points race for them.
Yeah, that'll be a thing to keep an eye on. Like I said, if you're competitive,
Absolutely.
even if it's just for that seventh in points, if you're competitive, you'll try your heart out to get it. So I imagine we'll see those two maybe battling it out on track. That's usually how it works out. When you have a points battle going on, no matter where it is in the points, you're going to see those cars near each other a lot in that race.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's because everybody's giving it their all, right? So when you know that you need points and it's time to go, you may have put in just that little bit of extra practice, or given just a little bit more effort than you maybe have previously, and sometimes that can end up getting the drivers closer and closer together, because you're starting to see really where their relative skill level is.
As we are, I believe it's a 2-minute warm-up, so we're finishing up here.
That we are.
And we're going to have, it looks like 16 or 17 drivers in here. We'll see. We saw Michael DeLong. He pulled over in that B main, but he might have just been bored. So we'll see if he grids up in this main feature. We're gridding up, so we'll pull up your grid for the last race of the season here for the Thunderstruck Championship 125. Casey Kuntz gets that pole spot tonight with the 14.423. Jeff Paisley in second. Cody Boehm gets the third spot with Ryan Bean on the outside row in fourth. So we're used to seeing him get that pole spot and kind of run away with it all race long, but not tonight. He's going to have to battle from that outside row outside in the second row here in this race tonight. Josh Oswald gets the fifth spot with Garrett Kinder on his outside in sixth. And I mean, that's one thing we talked about. They're not close in points. It's a 21-point difference. So, they're really not racing to try to take the position away from each other in points, but still, Oswald and Garrett Kinder are second and third in points, and of course, they're starting side by side this race. Logan Sturgeon going to start this one in seventh with Michael Swink on his outside in eighth. P9 tonight goes to Harold Rothery with Frank Barbary rounding out the top 10. Kevin Dowd starting this one in 11th with Jesse Nicula starting the race in the 12th position. David Hall 13th with William Griffith on his outside in 14th. P15 goes to Philip Manzo with Keith Lichtenwalder on his outside in 16th, and Michael DeLong going to start this one in 17th and round out the field.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one with Ryan starting fourth. He's going to have to work for it a little bit, because these cars don't really like making contact. So if he can touch somebody ever so slightly, it may end up sending him around. And with how low line dominant this track is, he's just going to have to be how do you put it, pixel perfect in a way, to just make sure that he's not making that contact, but he's getting just the right time, just the right run at the right time, just to be able to try to get under there if he really wants to go up there and end up taking the position.
All right, we got on track with us right now 17 cars. Once again for the last race of the season here at South Boston Speedway. That pace truck pulls off, and the green flag is out. Casey Kuntz, Jeff Paisley, your front row, going to lead the field to the green.
They are, and it looks like he's going to actually get out in front as my dad actually hits the wall there ever so slightly. So maybe just a little bit of anxiousness here at the start.
Oh, they're wrecking big time. That's Josh Oswald around. Oh, and he's not locking up the brakes, and that causes David Hall to have some contact.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact in there. It looks like somebody may have hit the wall and just caused a bit of a pileup, and Oswald ends up getting in that. And I mean, with how tight this track is, it's so hard to avoid making contact with people.
We're back with you guys here, and ooh, Oswald. I'm gonna go back a little bit because I took my eyes off the screen. Oswald.
Looks like he got a little bit loose there. Then the contact came to the outside, and then just all she kind of wrote when it came to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think both cars made mistakes. Oswald got loose, I think, on the outside. That's Ryan B, and I think he got in the wall a little bit, but we're gonna figure that out here. Oh no, that's Jeff Paisley in front of him gets in the wall. Ryan Bean comes down, Oswald comes up, and they make contact.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there for Oswald. It looks like it's kind of just a racing issue with that, unfortunately. They both kind of went for the same position. I think Ryan thought that my dad was going to end up slowing down more with the contact with the wall, and just came down, and Oswald was still down there, and maybe coming up the track just a little bit to try to get into the corner, and they kind of meet in the middle, right? And then they make the contact, and the wreck ensues.
Casey Kuntz was able to keep the lead there on that initial start of the race. Cody Bowe moved his way up to second over Jeff Paisley, but that means he'll have to start on that outside row. Depending on, that was a quick caution, so we'll see if iRacing automatically makes him go into single file with how quick it was. But I think we'll be able to get a double file restart here.
Yeah, I would think that we're going to get a double file restart for this first one. Everybody just needs to settle down just a little bit here at the start of the race. You never know how it can end up working out because everybody just gets that little bit anxious when you're starting a race, and you end up making these little mistakes and everything, and that can cause a caution early. But generally speaking, after you've had that first caution, everybody tries to calm down just a little bit to understand, hey, we got 125 laps here. We can make it through. And here we go. It actually sounds like they might be going single file instead of a double file.
Yeah, I think that's just an early way of just saying, you know what, guys, let's. I know it's an early wreck, but let's just restart single file, and maybe we can get some laps under our belts here. So we'll see if they're able to do so. Casey Kuntz going to lead them back to the green flag. It's out. And we are back underway here on lap 8 here at South Boston Speedway. And, well, you're already starting to see that single file restart kind of work out early on as nobody side by side into the initial turn.
Yeah, it definitely ends up helping out the leader a lot more when you don't have to worry about two people when you're doing a restart. You only have to worry about the guy that's behind you. So he can get a pretty good advantage off the start, and just like he did, gets a pretty good jump.
Man, but Cody Boehm right now all over the back bumper of Casey Kuntz. Cody Boehm, throughout that season, we never really had anybody come close to winning the B main and then win the feature. And Cody Boehm was close to being the first one to do it. Ryan Bean eventually ended up being the one to do it, but Cody Boehm was our original first person to almost do it. He came up short, but it was still a great race. And well, he didn't have to win the feature or the B main to get into the feature this time, and he's up there in second, battling for the lead.
Yeah, Cody's been relatively fast all year. It's just the small mistakes every once in a while in there that can end up catching him out. If he can sort a lot of that out next season, he's definitely going to be one to watch for the championship.
Take an onboard look here as how close he is to the back bumper of that 31 machine.
He's almost pushing him into the corner. He's definitely faster at the moment. He's just trying to sort out a way to maybe get that run at just the right time. And I think the way that you're going to have to do that is back off maybe just a little bit sooner, so that way you're not having to let off when you're coming out of the corner.
Maybe burnt his stuff up a little bit trying to race him there because he was falling back a little bit. And right now, Jeff Paisley starting to catch back up to him.
this is quite the hard track to pass when the bumpers are almost off limits in a way. So this is going to be really interesting to see what they do with that, because it is rather clear, I think, at the moment that Cody Boehm is a little bit faster. Maybe even a little bit of a train starting to form with the leader maybe not necessarily being the fastest at the moment. He might just be saving tires, of course, but it's one of those situations of, I think we're going to start seeing a bit of a train, and maybe some people getting just a little bit impatient with the person in front of them, and that's where you can start getting some of the wrecks in, some of the action that can happen with it. So definitely look towards the front here with this battle that's starting to show.
Yeah, we're starting to see Ryan Bean on this longer run. He's stuck behind Jeff right now, but we're starting to see his speed come into play. We know he's going to have race-winning speed, but it's all about, how you're able to deal with traffic. And you can be the fastest, but if you're not able to deal with traffic the best and get, maybe catch a break here or there, then it doesn't matter. So we're seeing him in that spot. Really, we've seen it a couple of times this season, but not much, where Ryan Bean, he has to deal with traffic being behind people, and that is happening tonight. He's there in fourth right now. But Cody Boehm, some contact to Casey Kuntz, and he checks up, and that's going to cause a train, as maybe thankfully for all those cars, a caution came out.
Yeah, bit of a checkup there. Cody was getting pretty how do I put it? Pretty anxious there. He had given them the bumper a few times before that, and I guess he gave it one more time, and you're not going to save it every time, unfortunately. But that was quite the moment there. Good job on our leader, Casey Kuntz, to be able to save that.
This looks like maybe Michael DeLong. Oh, he's on his roof. That's no good.
Just so happened that we ended up having a caution right at the same time as all the leaders are having to check up.
Makes contact with the wall, and then iRacing Physics take over, and he's on his roof.
Yeah, you never want to end up on your roof, but sometimes iRacing just says that it's time for you to be on your roof. We've all had that kind of thing happen. I had it at Kansas in an Xfinity car where I just touched the apron ever so slightly, and the car did a pirouette. So iRacing's a pretty good service, but sometimes you get the weird physics stuff come in from time to time, as you would expect with pretty much any sim, though.
Well, you mentioned a great save by Casey Kuntz, and a great job by everybody in that top four avoiding a wreck there. That could have easily been a separate wreck, but causing a caution at the same time. So that's usually where you'll see checkups happen, and then you can't avoid it. But somehow, they made contact, but all of them stayed straight.
Yeah, and I think that speaks a little bit to the talent level of the drivers that are up there. They all managed to be able to keep their wits about them in kind of a sticky situation. And the only real damage that everybody's got is just a little bit of damage to the crash bumpers, but not that much, really, all things considered. I think all of the cars will still pretty much be about at the performance that they were before anything happened.
Well, looky here, we got another double file restart. We got some green flag laps under their belt, so that confidence may be instilled back into race control, that we can get this thing going with double file restarts and have some clean racing.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can keep it double file. I personally prefer double file restarts. They just keep up the action just a little bit at the start as we get the green flag. And good jump, actually, from Cody Boehm. Ended up beating him to the line.
Maybe too good of a jump?
Very good try. Maybe. I'm not sure who took off first there, but Cody ends up getting the lead here.
Oh, boy.
That can end up changing some things.
Josh, I think it was Harold Rothery almost ended up on his roof. He was in the air, at least 5 feet in the air. So as our third caution of the race is out.
And he kind of got just a little bit of contact to the side from the 29, just slipping up just ever so slightly. Then a little bit of netcode ensues, and he ends up getting into the wall, and then everybody ends up piling in behind him. And I mean, that's kind of all that they did. Josh actually doing a really good job of getting
Yeah,
his car slowed down to avoid it,
really great
because
job there.
that's kind of the thing, right? Once you've seen the wreck in front, you really need to just slow down and hopefully not get any contact from the rear. But there's only so much that you can do with that. Luckily, nobody ends up hitting him in the rear. I think there really wasn't very many people to be behind him there, and just manages to get it out there. He actually gets the lucky dog now, and now he's back on the lead lap and can try to fight for the win again.
Saw that crazy ride from Harold Rothery's cockpit.
Yeah, in real life, I think his spine would be hurting a little bit from that one.
Just a little bit. As we are here, I have that on. Let's go. 31 laps into 125 lap race here tonight. Once again, Ryan Bean, your champion of the series. We're going to talk to him after the race no matter where he finishes, but pretty confident with how good of a racer he is. He'll finish top 3 anyways. We are going to talk to him last, though, no matter where he finishes. Even if he wins this thing, we're going to talk to the champion last. We're going to get the champion's words to end out the season.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to hear. Just being able to hear just a little bit from the champion after such a successful season for him, and it's always good to hear from him right at the end, just so that way, I don't know, he gets to kind of cap off the season, right, with a little bit of just what he can say to thank the people that have supported him throughout this and everything that entails.
Yep, but he knows he still has 90 or so laps here left of this race to try to win another one, as he has 7 wins on the season to try to make it 8. But he's going to have to battle to get there. Right now, Cody Boehm in the lead, and we're wrecking up front. Casey Koontz, your pole sitter
like
around.
I think that was netcode. We'll have to take a look at it again, but I saw that out of the corner of my eye, and it looked like netcode, which would be really unfortunate, especially with him wrecking right in front of the entire field.
It looks like there is some contact there.
Maybe just a little bit of contact, yeah.
And
Maybe
we've seen
little
before.
bit of contact.
We've seen before in these cars. Any little bit of contact can cause a spin in these cars.
Yeah, just that little bit of contact, and these cars tend to pivot just a little bit more than most cars on ovals, and unfortunately, that ends up turning him right in front of the field. And I think he's going to end up needing a fast repair after that one. But
yeah, it's no good when you get spun out in front of the entire field.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. Especially at a track that's this tight, it's almost unavoidable, especially if you're not expecting it.
Our 4th caution of the night here, and I mean, we talked about it when we were looking through the schedule all season long. We always pointed towards this track as one of the toughest tracks on the schedule, and I mean, you're seeing it here. It's just such close quarter racing. It's such a small track, a tight track, and just not a lot of room, and any little mishap can cause a wreck.
Yeah, this track is probably the hardest track on the circuit by a lot. It's just so tight. Those walls kind of close in on you when you start coming out of the corner, and it's just not easy, to say the least. And especially in these cars, with how easy it is to make just that little bit of contact and maybe spin somebody out, it's always a hard track. And props to these guys to get any green flag running done tonight. This track can be a real challenge, to say the least.
Well, hey, we're not done here racing at South Boston after tonight. We'll be racing in the Super Late Model Series to end their season as well tomorrow night, so make sure to tune in for that. But we still got a lot of racing ahead of us here for the modified series as Cody Boehm, your new race leader, and he's going to lead a single file group to the lead or to the green flag. And Ryan Bean, he's all the way up now to second behind Cody.
Yeah, somehow Ryan just manages to stay out of all of these incidents and just finds himself in good position. And while he may not have exactly gotten the best jump there, I mean, he's in second, and that's pretty good with only 40 laps down. And he definitely has a chance of going up there and competing with Cody tonight. So this should be pretty fun to see.
Keith Lichtenwarner, our B main winner. He's up to 9th right now. He started this one 16th, so a great run from him so far. Maybe some of those positions gained from avoiding these wrecks, but you can't take that away from somebody. Even if you don't pass for those spots, if you can avoid a wreck at a track like this and get yourself inside the top 10, that's still impressive.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those situations of, I mean, you're not the one who made the mistake, so you obviously deserve the position, right? So just keeping yourself out of trouble can turn a day that maybe you're not feeling as good in the car into a relatively good day, right? So it's one of those situations of just sometimes being safe is actually the fastest thing that you can do. And like our guy in second place here, Ryan, he's been able to keep it clean and has moved through the field up to second so far and trying to chase down Cody. Then we also have somebody like William Griffith, who started in 14th and is all the way up to 5th just by the effort of keeping your nose clean and staying out of any kind of trouble that anybody's giving you. And he's managed to get it up there. And that's just hats off to him. I mean, yeah, well deserved to be there. Obviously, he's managed to have the both the pace and the ability to avoid incidents in front of him, and that's really what it takes sometimes to be a good driver.
Josh Oswald, we saw him a part of that early wreck and almost a part of one here as he gets his nose chopped off a little bit. We saw him a part of that wreck earlier, and then he avoided that wreck and the wreck that just happened recently. And by avoiding that wreck, he's able to keep himself on track, not have to go get damages repaired, and that has him up to 5th right now after going to the back earlier. And he might have some race-winning speed in that car. We'll see as the green flag laps still tick by. Your top 5, Cody Boehm with Ryan Bean behind him, Garrett Kinder behind Ryan in 3rd. Your top 3 is really running away right now. Logan Sturgeon in that 4th position right now. And Josh Oswald, like we just mentioned, moved up into that top 5. And here comes Kevin Dowd. He's trying to make a pass on William Griffith as well.
Yeah, the leaders are really just trying to keep it clean and maybe get away from the field at the moment. You can always end up settling your differences just a little bit later if you just kind of wait and bide your time. You'll end up getting away, and then you'll have plenty of time to be able to do it without getting other people into the fight that maybe you didn't want to have to earlier.
Yeah, if you're going to give the bump and run, this is probably, I guess, the race to do it if you want to anyways, I guess. But I can guarantee you, even we're going to have a 3-week layoff for this series, and I guarantee you that person that you give the bump and run to in this race will not forget over those 3 weeks. So it's the end of the season, yeah, and there's not a race next week where they can pay you back, but race car drivers, even if you have a poor memory, you have a great memory when it comes to remembering who bumped you and maybe even possibly wrecked you.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely one to hold a little bit of a grudge at times when it comes to people maybe using your bumper when you don't like it. I mean, obviously, you never like it when somebody uses your bumper, but I mean, you never forget as a driver, and drivers have a really long memory of people who maybe have wronged them in the past, and they're always thinking.
Oh,
Keith
Lichtenwarner.
Oh, that sucks for Keith.
Yeah, he was having a really good run.
Yeah, he was having a good run tonight, and unfortunately, did he get spun there? It looked like he might have got a bumper from the guy behind him, but I'm not sure.
So we avoided the 12, and then chaos kind of ensued after that, and trying to save the car and is not able to. And with the iRacing physics, that car almost flips upside down. Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah, just a little bit of an overcorrection there, and that ended up costing him with how tight this track is.
He is still sitting
Unfortunate
there.
for him.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really hard to get it turned around when there's cars everywhere. You don't want to end up being the guy to back up into somebody just trying to do the pace laps.
Yeah, that's going to put him multiple laps down, I imagine. Because he went a
Most
lap down when
definitely.
he initially wrecked, and then he had to sit there even longer. So, yeah, I imagine he'll
Yeah,
be 2 down. Yep.
yeah, he's showing 2 down at the moment.
Casey Kuntz is the only car a lap down right now. I imagine he'll be the. I don't know if he already got the lucky dog or if he still remains to get one, because if he does, then obviously he'll be back on the lead lap.
I didn't see him in the wreck, so I would assume that he's going to get the lucky dog here.
As we are now, we're going to approach halfway under caution here. Cody Boehm, your race leader still, and did a pretty nice job at holding on to that lead through that green flag run, and seemed like he had a pretty good long run car.
Yeah, he I think he was actually one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car on track throughout most of that. He wasn't really losing anything to Ryan at all, and I mean I think if anything he was gaining. So he's looking really strong at the moment. We'll see if he's just kind of using a little bit more stuff than Ryan at the moment, or what. But he's looking like he's having a real shot here at being able to take it to him and winning this one.
Speaking of Ryan Bean, he's going to start now on the outside of Cody Boehm, and we saw Cody. He didn't jump the start, I guess, because he's still up there. We saw him get a really good jump last time, so maybe Ryan Bean will be able to do the same thing. Garrett Kinder in third, Logan Sturgeon fourth, and Josh Oswald rounds out your top 5 as we head to a restart here. Cody Boehm, your control car, and he is off. Great jump from him, and he's going to leave the battle for Ryan Bean and Garrett Kinder.
Yeah, I actually looked at that restart a little bit ago, and Cody jumped ever so slightly right before.
Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, good save from Ryan there. But I actually looked at the restart, and Cody jumped just a little bit, but he ended up backing off, and just in time managed to make it behind. I'm sorry, who was it that was in the lead? It was Casey Coons, right?
Yeah, and that battle
he managed to make it just behind Casey Coons, and then when Casey went, he managed to stay right beside him because he was so close to where he was. It was within 2 feet of being a penalty for Cody.
Yeah, and that battle with Casey Kuntz losing the lead on that cost him, because then eventually a couple laps later he was a part of a wreck. So that restart really cost that 31 car more than maybe he thought it would. As I believe there was another car a lap down with him because he did not get the lucky dog. So he'll have to wait for the next caution. Garrett Kinder has found his way into the top 2. We saw that a little bit of contact between him and Ryan Bean. I don't think it was on purpose from Garrett Kinder. As we see Ryan Bean, we know he has a strong car, and he's diving down to the bottom to try to take second right back.
Yeah, and he's managed to get it in there. He's almost a little bit loose there on the exit. I think he was actually just avoiding Garrett, but very fast-looking car tonight, as we actually see Josh Oswald behind him as well, who's been one of our standout guys this season. And you're just seeing him be able to roll that corner relatively well, but this all this fighting between the top 3 or top 4 has really given Cody a real chance at escaping the pack here.
Garrett Kinder fighting on the outside as much as he can and doing a nice job. He's actually ahead of Josh Oswald into the turn, but it's going to be tough to hold. He's making that high line work.
Yeah, that he is. It's just trying to stay stubborn out there, hold it as best as you can. It's actually working a little better than I expected. Maybe that's a little bit of the current tire model that they're running, to where maybe if you put a little bit more rubber out there, it might work just a little bit better than it used to. But he's doing a really good job of holding it, as Josh Oswald just can't quite get far enough ahead of him to be able to kind of clear himself.
Yeah, he loses a lot on entry and center, but he gains it all back on that exit.
Yeah, it's looking like he's really turning that wheel, though. I'd be surprised if he's not burning a lot of tire doing it.
He might even be able to make the pass or get that spot back on exit here if he gets a good enough run.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job out there, honestly. I didn't expect to see him be able to stay up there. But if you notice, this is just letting Ryan Bean get away from them and letting Cody also get away. But it's really starting to bottle up that second half of the field because they're having to stay slower just to kind of tiptoe around each other so that way they don't make contact. As we actually see Garrett win the battle on the outside, kind of unexpected, but very good work from him.
Yeah, and I think obviously it's how you run the track and your setup as well. But, oh, Logan Sturgeon into the wall. They keep it straight somehow. I thought that was going to be a pileup. But
Yeah,
I think that's going to be kind of a learning tool for everybody. Seeing Garrett Kinder being able to roll that top, and it looks like Oswald is faster right now, but that might be a tool for others to use later in this race, seeing how well that outside line can work. It just depends also on how your car runs.
Yeah, and it almost looks like he's using it as his preferred line at the moment. Just whenever Josh manages to try to go for the move, he's just able to stick it up there and hold it in. I can't imagine that this is going to last for very much longer, though. Not with how much lock I was seeing him put into the wheel. Josh is just a little bit faster right now, and I'd imagine that that's going to end up being the case for quite a while. So we actually see, I believe that's Logan Sturgeon right behind them, kind of following Kinder here. Just trying to maybe see if that line's a little bit faster for him.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about for Logan right now is he did make some pretty good contact with that wall, but he's still rolling right now. But I think he's a little bit slower maybe than he was before that happened, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it could just be a situation of just trying to get back his bearings, right? Because once you've had an incident, kind of get out of the groove, and you need to be very careful to try to get it back, right? Like, because you're in a situation where you just made a mistake, got to get back in the right mindset of finding speed. And unfortunately for him, it may take him just a little bit longer to do it, but I'm sure he'll get back there relatively quickly.
As right now, Cody Bowman, Ryan Bean are 4 seconds ahead of Josh Oswald, who eventually did make that pass. So he's up into third, but because of all that battling, 3.5 seconds back from Ryan Bean and 4 behind Cody Bowman in the lead. But yeah, I think he's just happy right now that he was finally able to make that pass.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be pretty happy that he made that, because if a caution comes out, I mean, it's a very good chance that ends up equaling out to a net P2 off of the start. And he's looking fast tonight, really. It's just unfortunate that he kind of got held up there. So he's going to be hoping for a caution here, I think, just with how many laps are left. That's quite the lead to be able to gain back. As it does look like Ryan Bean is managing to eke in here on Cody Boehm. I'm thinking he's going to be able to get up here and fight him right towards the end of this race, and that should be pretty exciting. I think Ryan has a good chance of getting there, but it's one thing to get there and another thing to be able to pass him.
Yeah, we're coming down now to 35 laps to go, so not a lot of time to do it either. That may seem like a good amount of laps. Maybe at 1.5 miles it is, but at a track like this, a caution is out. And, well, not sure where it happened, but the caution is out. And that
Josh Oswald is going to love seeing that.
That is the last thing our leaders wanted to see.
Oh, definitely. Our two leaders, they kind of wanted that to stay with that in between just them two. But now that brings in another wild card, right? That ends up bringing in Josh Oswald, who will finally have a good starting position after the start of the race, where he ended up having the incident that he had. We really get to see what he can do, and he's going to be in prime position to be able to get second.
Yeah, going to be starting right behind our leader now, as long as it is a double file restart, which with how well that run was, I imagine it will be with, we're going to be under 30 to go when that green flag drops again. So if he can get a good enough jump, beat Ryan Bean, get in that second position, he can try to use that speed that he has to try to win this race. But we really don't know yet, you know? We don't know what kind of speed he has compared to these leaders just because, well, he's either been caught up in a wreck or caught up in a 10-lap battle.
And I think that we know that he has either the third or fourth best car tonight. Obviously, we are missing up at the front both Casey Kuntz and my dad, Jeff Paisley. We know that we're missing them, but we know that Josh has a really fast car tonight, and we haven't quite gotten to see it because he's been towards the back. But we know that he has a fast car, and the fact that he's in third shows that he definitely has one of them. So who knows? Honestly, I'm thinking that he's going to be pretty fast, and it's clearly showing it right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this restart. All these fast cars together once again, and no more 3 or 4 second gaps. We're going to see who really has that better car, and sometimes you don't see that just because, like we talked about, if you're stuck in traffic, sometimes even if you have the best car, there's nothing you can do about it. So we're about to find out, though. 1, how good of a jump Cody Boehm can get, and 2, can someone beat him in the first 5 laps or so to try to take the lead away before that long run, at least not too long of a run, obviously. It'll be about 29 laps to go, but you want to take that lead, if you can, away as quickly as possible on the restart.
Oh, absolutely. You always want to get the lead if you can. And as we end up seeing Cody Boehm get another good jump here, but the 28 of Ryan Bean manages to hold strong on the outside, and I think he's actually going to clear Josh Oswald here and sends it in really deep there, just trying to get to the bumper. Cody, honestly, if he got any closer, he may have ended up net coating him there. So kind of got lucky with how deep he managed to send it and not make contact. So very interesting. We'll see if he can keep up the pace, and maybe we can have a 3-car battle for the win here.
We got a lot of battle going on back in the pack. We were 2 wide, 3 rows deep for a little bit. It's kind of strained it out a little bit, but you still see a lot of racing going on. William Griffith, I believe that is, with Logan Sturgeon. But yeah, the top 3, well, Ryan Bean right now all over the back bumper of Cody Boehm. He has 25 laps this time by to try to get that lead away, and he can't take too long because he does have Josh Oswald right behind him. So this is going to be, if we can go green the rest of the way, a really fun battle to watch all the way to the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody's main goal here, I think, is just going to be to hold the bottom and don't make any mistakes, right? Don't show any little bit of an opening here, and just kind of roll that bottom. If you can kind of get it to where their run comes while you're still down there, not necessarily as fast, they're going to have to check up for you. And sometimes that can be a great defensive tactic. However, that will end up kind of aggravating the 2 that are behind you, and that can end up causing them to make contact with you. So you got to be careful if you're doing that. But this is a tactic that he can use. If he really wants to, he can just try to back them up a little bit.
Yeah, right now, though, Josh Oswald, he's on the back bumper of the 28 of Ryan Bean. And here comes Jeff Paisley. He made a pass on Garrett Kinder for the 5th position. So a couple of positions changing here with around 20 laps to go. But Josh Oswald has speed in that car right now. But can he make 2 passes in the span of 20 laps?
That's the challenge of this track and these cars, right? Because if it was a super late model, as we have a caution come out at the
caution
moment,
is out. Harold Rothery
looks like it was with Casey Kuntz and Logan Sturgeon. So see what happened between them.
Okay.
They were the ones that were talking in chat saying sorry, or that's okay. But
Logan Sturgeon here, we're with him right now, and Casey Kuntz just dives into the turn a little too deep and makes contact by accident, of course.
Yeah, he was just trying to get. Whoa!
He just morphed through that wall. That's honestly great. We need to find that.
Yeah, we need to. I think we need an onboard of that.
Michael DeLong in the
He
16.
he pulled a little bit of a Danny Phantom there, didn't he? Going ghost, like.
Oh man, I think it's because he was technically on pit road. I don't know.
No, because there is collision in pit road. It's only once you've made it to your pit stall that there isn't. But...
Just thank you very much. Wall can't touch me.
Huh.
That's crazy.
Huh.
I've seen some crazy things this week. I did Crooked Line Racing on or yesterday, and we saw a guy go down to pit road on entry, and apparently just hit a pebble that sent his car into the sky. I mean, he didn't hit anything, and his car all of a sudden just propelled into the sky. So I've seen some crazy things now this week, twice in 2 days.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the craziest things that I've seen in a long time on iRacing. I've never seen somebody just like be able to morph through a wall like that. That's interesting to say the least. I don't know what to say on that one. Yes, he is a very lucky boy that didn't end up hitting the wall.
As we are going to get a restart with about 15 or so to go, under 15 laps to go.
Yeah, there's not very much time left here, and with these caution flag laps ticking down on it, that just makes it to where there's even less of an opportunity for guys in second and third to be able to have a shot at maybe getting in there and going for the win. So a good restart is crucial here, especially for Ryan since he's on the outside, but especially for Josh Oswald in the 17, being right behind the leader. This is his opportunity to maybe get a shot at Ryan here, and he gets an excellent start. Actually, I think he's going to clear him to the corner.
Can Josh Oswald clear Ryan being out of the turn? He needs to clear him as quickly as possible if he wants to race for that lead, though. And we've seen how good that outside line can be when you're battling somebody.
Just kind of clears himself there from Ryan. That was Ryan being very nice to him there, actually. That could have been quite the incident there for Josh if he did that way. But he is clear of him now, and now he can go try to run down Cody. He's been second so many times this season, and it'd be kind of painful for him to be second again. So he's definitely going to be pushing for the win on this one for sure.
As we are down to 11 laps to go, 10 when they cross the start-finish line once again. Cody Boehm, your leader, he took over after a great jump, passing Casey Kuntz. Really the first time we've seen that, I think, all season long. Somebody win a restart on the outside and win it on the first lap anyways. I could be wrong, but Cody Boehm, a great display of a good jump, and a caution is out.
Not sure what happened on this one.
As Cody Boehm, not the one who wanted to see that caution. He it wasn't too big of a lead over Oswald, but it was a good enough lead with only 10 to go that he was probably sitting pretty comfortable.
It appears to have been Casey Kuntz again, so not sure what happened, but may be able to go back and see it.
Tough race for him. He was our pole sitter here tonight.
Yeah, and I think he was just getting maybe a little bit desperate, just trying to get back through the field since he ended up getting wrecked and maybe made a second mistake here.
Yeah, he dove into the turn and unfortunately came up into what looked like the 29 of Frank Barbary.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Frank really had anything that he could have done there, as there is a little bit of net code, but there definitely was going to be contact anyway. I think I'm not really sure what he wanted him to do there. Diving in that late, you're not really looking behind you at that point for sure. And they end up connecting in the middle, and it looks like Casey is going to be out of the race for that.
Yeah, we saw him pull over and get out of his car.
Yeah, tough night for him though.
Tough way to end the season for sure. But Cody Boehm, he's looking forward to trying to close this season out in a great way.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm Cody at this point, I'm thinking just keep it coming. Just let them keep wrecking and just tick these laps down. The less time I have to defend, the better in this situation. Especially with the fact that he's been getting such good restarts like he has. It's always a really good thing when you can have that kind of thing to where just have less time that you need to worry about everything and to mentally have to prepare for. As he gets another really good start here, as everything gets in kind of in line relatively quickly. Josh got a pretty good start on the outside, and obviously right on his bumper as he's almost there. Um, doesn't have very much time here with as we're on lap 123, so 3 to go. And if he's going to get there, I think he has to use the bumper.
Yeah, we're coming down to 2 laps to go. Josh Oswald, maybe just not enough time. Not even close enough, really, to give the bumper right now in a clean way. As Cody Boehm wants to get that white flag before a caution can come out. Let's see if he's able to. Out of turn 4, the white flag is out here at South Boston Speedway as Cody Boehm in the lead, Josh Oswald right behind him, and your champion, eventual champion, Ryan Bean in third. Through 3 and 4 for the last time. Rounding out the season with the win will be Cody Boehm here at South Boston Speedway.
Yeah, good run from him all night. He's been really fast all night. Maybe not always the fastest, but he was definitely the fastest right there at the end. And I mean, congrats to him. Just well done race out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he took that lead away from Casey and never gave it back. So a great run from him. He still had a chance. I mean, there was a good amount of the race left for him to give up that lead, and he didn't. He held through the rest of the race, held off. I mean, Ryan Bean, our series champion, he held him off. So you're right. If he can show up next season, if he does, and just be more consistent, maybe, whether it's the tiny mistakes or just the luck maybe needs to go a different way. Maybe we'll see Cody Boehm stealing some of these wins away from Ryan Bean next season and maybe going for a championship.
Yeah, and I think that that restart was really what changed the complexion of this race. By having that quality of a restart, he just managed to get himself in the lead, and that kind of just won him this race.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and pull our race winner in here now. Oh, unless he's going to burn it down more, that's okay. And into the wall he goes.
He's having a load of fun tonight.
Let me check. I believe that is his first win of the season. Yep. What a better time to get that first win of the season, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get some congratulations from Ryan Bean. Ryan Bean doing his own celebratory burnouts, maybe. And, yeah, we're going to let Cody Boehm do his Polish victory lap. We'll give Ryan Bean the spotlight. He is the series champion. We'll let him wreck his car, do some burnouts, do whatever he wants to.
Yeah, and he has had a fantastic season all year, and just fantastic work out of him as he actually dropped to 4th here at the end of the race. But that's actually one of his worst finishes since we went to these cars. So, I mean, when 4th is one of your worst finishes in these cars, that's saying something.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. Kevin Dowd got that 3rd spot.
Yeah, it looked like he ran wide going into turn 3. May have just sent it just a little bit too deep.
We're going to go ahead and get Cody Boehm in here. Hey, Cody, it's Zach and Will in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, man. Well, I said it. What the better time to get that first win of the season on the last race and maybe take some momentum into the next season. So first of all, congratulations. Take us through your race.
Thank you. It's definitely a good time to get the win. I wish I would have gotten it earlier. Obviously, I mean, a couple times I I choked a couple good finishes away, but yeah, the race was kind of crazy. I mean, I got up front and I knew. I mean, once I saw Ryan behind me, I was like, I've seen this song and dance before, and I thought, man, he's gonna catch me and he's gonna smoke me eventually. But I don't know, maybe he just used up his tires or something. And then when Oswald was behind me, I knew. I mean, I had a little bit of a shot at beating him because I knew he had some damage, but I owe him this win because he gave me the setup last minute, as he's been all season. So I owe him a ton.
And you definitely were looking fast out there all night. And I mean, obviously, with the fact that you were able to hold off Ryan for what you did, and then after that, holding off Josh, you were very fast throughout most of the race. But do you think what ended up giving you the chance to win here, and really what was the key to winning this race, was getting that restart that you did?
Yeah. Earl. I mean, that second caution. I think when I passed Casey on the outside, and then once I was able to control the restarts, I thought I had a good shot. Because I mean, this track was. I don't want to say it was single lane, but if I could control the restarts, I knew I was really going to restarts all day, and I figured really gave me a good shot at winning. But the rest of the restarts, I mean, I was pretty good on them, except the one Ryan got me a little bit and had me on my toes as he always does, but I was able to hold him off, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again on your win tonight. Do you have anybody that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, definitely want to thank Josh Oswald again for the setup and running the league and everybody that runs with us every week. And give Ryan Bean a shout out. He's been whipping our butts all season. I'm glad to get one on him. Hey, man, I hope so. Have a good one, guys.
Yes, sir. I got you guys. How are you? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened at the very beginning between me and Ryan. All I know is I wound up buried in the inside wall and a lap down, and just focused on trying to keep my nose clean from there because I didn't have a quick repair for the whole race.
Yeah, absolutely. You were very fast from what I could tell throughout all the night as well. Do you think that if this race had went green once you had gotten back up there, do you think that you had a chance to maybe win this race, or was it just not really in the cards?
I think if I could have got to the front before Cody, I could have kept him behind me. I took a couple hits to the right front after my quick repair, but the car was still working really good. But I was able to stay, could stay there with Cody. Just didn't have enough to really make a move on him. So I mean, it's a matter of who got to the front first.
Yeah, well, once again, good finish again tonight. I've been pulling for you to try to get one of these wins, but I guess that'll have to wait for next season. But congratulations again. So, do you have anybody to shout out?
Absolutely, Magic Mike Motorsports for keeping this season alive, really, for us from broadcasting and sponsorship perspective, and everybody that helps me keep this league running really well. We'll be back for season 2 of the modifieds and season 3 of the super late models in 3 weeks. We finish up super late models tomorrow. Still one more shot to go for that W. Absolutely, thank you guys. Good job in the booth.
Sure do. How are you guys? It was a long race. I just want to stay out of trouble and keep my car clean and see where I was at the end of the race.
Well, you definitely managed to achieve that goal. I believe you were the biggest mover of the race, starting in 11th and ending in 3rd. But what ended up happening that ended up giving you the P3? Because going into the final corner, it looked like Ryan was ahead, and somehow you managed to come out of it ahead of him.
I think he just got loose or something in that corner, and he let me go underneath. He didn't want to race me, he said so.
Right. Well, congratulations again on your P3. Great performance out of you tonight. And do you have anybody that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I do. Emily at Williams Auto Group, Front Row Racing, and Ryan Bean for the help with the setups through the season, and Josh for putting on a super league. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and you guys in the booth too.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Great race tonight, and look forward to maybe seeing you next season.
Thank you.
All right, we got one more person to talk to here tonight, and that is our champion, Ryan Bean. Absolutely dominant all season long. We're going to go ahead and get him in here. Hey, Ryan, this is Zach and Will in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, guys, how's it going?
Hey, well, congratulations on the championship. I mean, we basically congratulated you last week because you had it locked up. But once again, congratulations. Awesome season, 7 wins, and you finished 4th here tonight. That might have been, honestly, one of your worst finishes. So, yeah, I just want to say congrats on the season, the championship. Take us through your race here tonight.
Yeah, I qualifying. I don't know what happened there. I don't think I'd spun out on a 2-lap run yet, and I saved, I guess, my best for qualifying. But I knew the outside would be good. I got pinched there a couple times, which, I mean, it's racing. I'm not really that's not that big a deal. But then I just kept getting caught up and everything happening in front of me. Got some damage, and it was good for 5 laps, and then Cody's tires would just come into it and he'd run away. Good race for him. He was super quick. I don't know if I had a healthy car, if I would have had anything for him, but either way, it was fun. And at the end there, I kind of just I'd like to say I missed my breaking point, but Kevin does so much work for this team, and yeah, I just felt like he could have one last hurrah. So that's what happened at the end there.
Well, here you are at the end of the season, and you stand victorious in the points, and have really been the star of the show, to be honest. How does it feel going into next season, knowing that you are the top dog and it's pretty undisputed at the moment?
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure because obviously now the eyes are on you, but at the end of the day, it's so much fun driving these cars, and hopefully we can get some more people. Everybody got better throughout the season, and I'd like to think I did too, but it was really good competition. I think anybody could have won that race, but hopefully all the same people come back next year. We can get a couple more people, and it'll be some fun racing.
Absolutely, and congratulations again on the season. Do you have anybody to shout out?
Yeah, one last time, Williams Auto Group sponsored me and my guys for the whole season. I'd love to put a good name out there for them, and you guys up in the booth, you guys have been kick-ass all year, and Josh for this amazing league. The modifieds are easily my favorite. I love driving them. I love all the people in it. It's super fun. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to watching you tomorrow night. But one last time, congrats on the championship, 7 wins, incredible season. We look forward to seeing you out there, probably winning a lot more next season.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.
All right, you're not your race winner, which we're used to saying, but your series champion, Ryan Bean. I mean, just one last time before we head out of here tonight. Fantastic season from him. Like we mentioned, 7 wins on the season. Average finish of, it looks like it was second before coming into tonight. Average finish of still second. So yeah, I mean he didn't finish any worse than third on average, or worse than second, I guess you could say, on average. So fantastic showing from him. Great. Shout out to everybody. I know he's our champion, but shout out to everybody in the series who have really made it a fun one to broadcast and just to watch as well. So I'll send it to you for the last time for the season on your last thoughts.
Right. So that was the first season here for the Thunderstruck. Uh, what is it? I guess the modified series,
Yep.
and that would be that would be a wrap for the season. And it was quite a fun season. We had quite a few really good races this year, and South Boston being the finale definitely was pretty much what we expected. With it being such a difficult track, there was going to be a lot of incidents and a lot of I guess you could say drama with people being sent to the back and making it all the way back up to second in the case of Josh Oswald. Um, and just overall, looking forward to how next season's going to end up going. And yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone that tunes in every single week and watches these races. It's been a lot of fun to broadcast, and well, it's not over for the Thunderstruck Super Series just yet for the season. We still have super late models tomorrow night here at South Boston, where we look to crown another champion in a different class of car. So, once again, thank you for tuning in every Wednesday night to watch these drivers on track, and I know they appreciate it, and I appreciate them putting on a good show for us to be able to broadcast, because, you know, obviously without the drivers on track, we don't have a show to put on. So there's your final results. Hopefully had enough time to look through it. But yeah, once again, tune in tomorrow night where we will crown another champion here in the Thunderstruck Super Series. My name is Zach Wetstein, and William Paisley signing off for the last time this season from Rebels Racing Network. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.